The Rose Archetype wasn't really a thing until 2019, when they all of a sudden decided to print a whole bunch of support around Black Rose Dragon, codifying a lot of its soft support over the years as a real put-together archetype. So in this list, we'll be going over the best cards from the Rose and Black Rose Dragon archetype and support. And at number 10, we have Basal Rose Shoot. This is a quick play spell card that, when activated, allows you to special summon one Rose Dragon from your hand or graveyard in defense position, or when this card is destroyed while face up on the field, you can target one Black Rose Dragon or a monster whose text mentions Black Rose Dragon from your graveyard or that is banished and special summon that monster. And both of these effects are a hard once per turn. Now, the effect of summoning almost any monster from the archetype from your hand or graveyard has tons of utility. From summoning any combo piece to continue a play, or from summoning a boss monster after your opponent removes it, along with fantastic targets to revive, like Black Rose Moonlight Dragon, which allows you to bounce a special summon card your opponent controls back to their hand on its special summon. Or you can summon Ruddy Rose Dragon or negate any destruction effects your opponent activates, such as Twin Twisters or Lightning Storm. Then special summon Black Rose Dragon from your extra deck or graveyard. And since its floating effect can be procced by your own cards as well, you could set it on the field in order to bring back Black Rose Dragon after it blows up the field. Or just proc its second effect with a Ruddy Rose Dragon who can do a similar thing. The Rose Dragon archetype basically can use this card to choose one of its two effects to activate, since they're really good at wiping the whole field, which makes it a great combo extender or recovery tool, and a good card to start this list off on. And at number 9, we have Garden Rose Flora. This is a generic level 5 synchro monster with the effect where you can target one field spell card and destroy it. Then special summon one Rose token to the field of whoever controlled that field spell card. And the restriction of this effect is that you cannot summon any extra deck monsters besides synchro monsters for the rest of the turn, along with it being a hard once per turn. Along with the fact that during your opponent's main phase, you can, on a quick effect, synchro summon using this monster, an effect that's similar to Formula Synchron and just a lot of other synchro tuners. Due to the strength of field spell cards nowadays, there will more than likely be a target to destroy and activate the effect. The issue is that its effect to destroy field spell cards is kind of slow, since it's not a quick effect, and the fact that the effect is just not worth destroying your own cards, unless you get some kind of benefit out of it. Also, the decks that do benefit from their field spell cards being destroyed have better ways to destroy their own field spell cards with their own archetype-specific support. Although the second effect, to synchro summon during your opponent's turn, does have some good utility in certain synchro decks, like Rose decks, due to being a quick effect board nuke if you summon a card like Black Rose Dragon, or a quick effect graveyard banish thanks to Ruddy Rose Dragon. These effects, while good, aren't good enough to allow the card to see competitive play. But then again, most of the cards on this list kind of fall into that category as well. And at number 8, we have Red Rose Dragon. This is a level 3 tuner monster with the effect that if it's used as material for a synchro summon, you can special summon one Rose Dragon monster from your hand or deck, except Red Rose Dragon. Then, if it was used for a synchro summon of a Black Rose Dragon, or a plant type synchro monster, you can add a copy of Frozen Rose or Blooming of the Darkest Rose from your deck to your hand. Frozen Rose is almost always the card you'll want to add due to Frozen Rose allowing you to search or draw cards. The real reason this card takes number 8 spot is due to both the special summon from the deck effect if it's used as a synchro material, and because it's a level 3 tuner, so it can be summoned from the deck with cards like Crystron Halki Fibrax. Along with the fact that if you use Red Rose Dragon to summon out a card like Garden Rose Maiden, you can go +2 from the deck due to searching from Red Rose Dragon's effect, and searching one copy of Black Garden via Maiden. Red Rose Dragon is a strong tuner monster, and definitely one of the best Rose monster tuners. But it's not the best Rose Dragon main deck monster. That monster will be revealed further down the list. And at number 7, we have Ruddy Rose Dragon. This is a generic level 10 synchro monster that on synchro summon you can banish all cards from both players' graveyards. And you can nuke the field as well if you use Black Rose Dragon or a different plant type synchro monster, such as Garden Rose Flora, as one of its synchro materials. Along with the fact that if your opponent activates an effect that would destroy cards in the field, you can negate the effect by tributing this card. But once you tribute Ruddy Rose Dragon for this effect, you can then special summon a Black Rose Dragon from your extra deck or graveyard. So Ruddy Rose Dragon both can remove all resources from your opponent's graveyard and field, along with negating any effect which would destroy a card, just like Stardust Dragon. Stardust Dragon is a synchro monster which negates destruction effects by tributing itself, but then comes back at the end of the turn. And that effect in the past was an extremely useful form of negation due to how many destruction effects were used. Although currently, the effect would be better if it negated anything due to how not every deck destroys monsters, due to tons of different ways decks are able to remove cards from the field, such as spinning them back into the deck or flipping them face down. And the first effects are effectively useless if you go first, unless you set up a card like Garden Rose Flora in order to synchro summon Ruddy Rose Dragon on your opponent's turn. Then, it can be a great effect to activate. While there are issues with the Ruddy Rose Dragon, such as the level being 10 in a deck filled with level 4s, it can be slightly difficult to get the materials on the field for the summon. And the second effect not exactly being worth the effort due to other cards doing the same effect while having an easier summoning condition. But at the end of the day, it's a good synchro monster, well deserving to spawn this list nonetheless. And at number 6, we have White Rose Dragon. This is the main combo starter for the Rose Archetype, due to its effect to allow you to, on its normal summon, special summon any Rose Dragon from your hand or graveyard. And if you control a plant or dragon type tuner monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. And if you use White Rose Dragon as a synchro material, you can mill any level 4 or higher plant monster from your deck to the graveyard. All of these effects are hard once per turn, but these effects are strong for many reasons. From the ability to set up any combo by just normal summoning the card, like special summoning Crossrose Dragon in order to search out Basal Rose Shoot to continue your plays, along with milling a level 4 or higher plant type monster from your deck to the graveyard if you use those two synchro monsters due to Crossrose Dragon being a tuner. Or if you have already used your normal summon, you can just special summon White Rose Dragon from your hand, since the entire Rose Archetype are a mixture of plants and dragons. So you will almost always have a way to summon it from your hand. White Rose Dragon is a card that any dedicated Rose deck must use, along with the fact that for the first time on the list, White Rose Dragon is a card which actually saw competitive play. And while it wasn't in Rose decks, it saw play in a few Dragonling decks due to the free special summon if you control a Dragon Tuner, and those decks using multiple different Dragon type tuner monsters. White Rose Dragon is a card which is the face of the Rose Dragon main deck monsters for a reason, but it's only at the number 5 spot due to the extra powerful extra deck monsters, which of course we'll be going over soon. And at number 5, we have Crossrose Dragon. This is a Link 2 monster, with the materials just being 2 monsters with different types, and the effect stating that on a quick effect, you can tribute this card in 1 plant type monster, then special summon 1 Rose or plant type synchro monster from your extra deck, which is treated as if it was synchro summoned. So, effectively, during your opponent's turn, you can summon cards like Black Rose Moonlight Dragon in order to spin any special summon monster your opponent controls back to their hand, similar to a compulsory evacuation device, or just, Black Rose Dragon to blow up the field. The second effect is that if your monster you control is destroyed by a card effect outside of the damage step, you can banish Crossrose Dragon from your graveyard in order to special summon a Rose Dragon monster from your graveyard. Which, along with cards like Red Rose Dragon being able to search cards like Frozen Road when used as a synchro material, allows you to, on your next turn, continue your plays. Crossrose Dragon is a strong Link monster, made really good by its generic materials, the quick effect Disruption it can use due to its first effect, and being able to also keep a monster on your field by banishing itself. The only issue is, like mentioned with Ruddy Rose Dragon, Crossroads' second effect only activates via Destruction, which is slightly limited because of how much different types of removal there is, and might be dealt with before you even have a chance to use it via cards like DD Crow banishing Crossroads before the recovery could ever happen. However, I don't usually count hand traps against a card's power, and being able to quick effect destroy your field and provide some recoverability from the graveyard makes this a pretty powerful Link monster. And at number 4, we have Garden Rose Maiden. This is a generic level 5 synchro monster with the effect that, when special summoned, you can add 1 copy of Black Rose Dragon from your deck or graveyard to your hand, along with the fact that you can banish Maiden from your graveyard to special summon 1 Rose Dragon or 1 Dragon synchro monster from your graveyard, and both of these effects have a hard once per turn. These effects are extremely strong for 2 very different reasons. The first effect to search is immensely powerful because it's just a straight +1 on summon, with a card that has the ability to summon other cards, along with the second effect allowing you to bring back your monsters like Black Rose Moonlight Dragon, or Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, or just your boss monsters, or even just your combo pieces like Rock Rose Dragon. Or if you use Maiden as a material for a Link or Synchro Summon, it allows you to bring back almost any monster from the archetype to continue your plays. Garden Rose Maiden can also be brought back with Black Garden's effect, since it has an attack point value that's divisible by 800. And another reason the Garden Rose Maiden sees occasional play is due to the fact that its effect doesn't activate via Synchro Summon. So you can recycle Maiden from your graveyard in order to act Black Rose Dragon multiple times, even if only once per turn. Garden Rose Maiden is a very powerful card in the Rose archetype due to the searching and recovering tools, and even sees play in non-Rose decks like Combo Link decks because of its ability to easily bring out a generic monster negate. And at number 3, we have the retrain of Black Rose Dragon, Black Rose Moonlight Dragon. Black Rose Moonlight Dragon is a light, generic level 7 synchro monster with the effect that if this card is special summoned, or your opponent special summons a level 5 or higher monster, you can bounce that card back to their hand on a hard once per turn. This effect is extremely versatile to use due to cards in the Rose Archetype, such as Crossrose Dragon and Basal Rose Shoot, allowing you to special summon Moonlight Dragon during your opponent's turn to interrupt their combos and bounce one card back to their hand, which is still a powerful effect due to how useful stopping your opponent in their tracks can be, as shown by cards like Compulsory Evacuation Device having seen play ever since it was released. Black Rose Moonlight Dragon saw lots of play in Blue Eyes decks due to the monster Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon allowing you to tribute itself in order to summon any light dragon synchro monster from your extra deck, basically giving Blue Eyes players access to bounce any card their opponent controls after having negated any graveyard effect due to Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon's first effect. Black Rose Moonlight Dragon also sees play in decks which can summon Ultimate Tzolk'in, a normally difficult to summon monster whose materials are 2 level 5 or higher monsters at the same level, and has the effect of allowing you to cheat out any level 7 or 8 dragon synchro monster from your extra deck if you set a spell or trap card, which gives you a free bounce due to Moonlight Dragon's effect. Black Rose Moonlight Dragon is just a powerful, easy to summon synchro monster, just barely beaten out in total usage by the next card in this list. And at number 2, we have Black Garden. This is a field spell card with the effect that if a monster is summoned to the field, you can cut its attack in half, along with making whoever summoned the monster summon 1 Rose token to their opponent's side of the field. So if your opponent summons a monster, they put a token on your field, and the tokens have 800 attack and defense, and are plant type, which means they work with cards like Crossrose Dragon, and can allow you to tribute the token summoned in order to summon a card. Black Garden's second effect is that you can destroy all plant type monsters in the field in order to summon 1 monster in your graveyard with an attack equal to all of the plant type monsters in the field combined. Which, while having less utility outside of Rose decks, it can be extremely useful to use due to so many of the Rose cards having multiples of 800 attack points, like Garden Rose Maiden having 1600, so it only requires 2 tokens to be on the field to summon it from the graveyard, or Crossrose Dragon having 800 attack, so you'd only need 1 token to bring it back. Black Garden has seen quite a bit of play in many different decks, mainly because of how useful it is to have multiple monsters swarm in your field, and how searchable it is because it's a field spell card, so you can use cards like Metaverse or Terraforming, but mainly through Garden Rose Maiden. Black Garden is a surprisingly versatile field spell, which is a cornerstone of the Rose Archetype, and used to be a cornerstone of some stun decks in the past, although the number 1 spot blows it out of the water in terms of total usage in the game's history. And at number 1, we have Black Rose Dragon. This is a generic level 7 synchro monster with the effect that is simply, when this card is synchro summoned, destroy all cards in the field. There's also a second effect to banish a plant type monster from your graveyard to turn 1 defense position monster your opponent controls to attack position and make its attack 0. But that effect might as well not exist because the only reason Black Rose Dragon ever saw play was because of how powerful that first effect was. Destroying all cards was such a powerful effect that Dark Hole was banned at the time, and Black Rose Dragon didn't only destroy monsters. Black Rose Dragon destroyed every card in the field, spells and traps included. For many years, Black Rose Dragon was a must-use synchro monster due to only having generic materials, meaning any deck that played a tuner monster could nuke the board with ease, which could also be used to end on 2 tokens, if brought out using Debris Dragon in the Dandelion combo, which was the OG big brain combo back in the day with Black Rose Dragon. Black Rose Dragon has seen almost constant play ever since its creation all the way back in 2008, and was even limited on the ban list for a year due to its meta-defining effect. Another key factor in Black Rose Dragon seeing tons of play, even if it has been slightly power crept nowadays, is because it makes a very valuable target to bring out with monsters that can synchro summon during your opponent's turn, like TG Star Guardian or even Crossrose Dragon, as its effect is a pretty valuable piece of disruption. The card is just weirdly popular too, due to the fact that it's the main boss monster of the character Akiza from the 5Ds anime, who's the character used as the avatar of this channel. And this immense popularity has led to decks which use cards like Pot of Extravagance to run Black Rose Dragon due to them not needing any extra deck, since they banish almost all their cards in the extra deck due to Extravagance's draw effect. So they just choose cards they like Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, Dark Magician cards, and of course Black Rose Dragon. Black Rose Dragon is a card whose effect is still strong today, even if a lot of boss monsters are immune to destruction effects, like Red Eyes Dark Dragoon or Evil Hero Malicious Bane. That still hasn't stopped Black Rose Dragon from seeing play, which really shows the power of the card more than anything else, that even after becoming power crept, it still sees competitive play to this day. Alright, and that's the list. If you think there's any other Rose cards that should have definitely been on this list of the cards I talked about, Or if you have ideas for future videos just like this one, I'd love to hear about them down in the comments.